we're not depending on the government, to give us this and to give us that. We're appreciative of it, but we are going to work 10 times harder because we do not want to be dependent on the government. So it's just understood that this is what you do.
Because even when I think about Kamala Harris, I think about her mother being Indian. So a lot of times she was identifying as Indian, and she also was pushing forward certain things in the political arena, particularly for that group. But then when it came to us, it was just like, oh no, I'm not going to do anything that is directly for you. And Canadian born Nigerian, he said something that kind of made me think, and because as Black Americans, we we always hear the concept of working 2 times harder. But what he was saying was he understands that concept of Black Americans having to work 2 times harder, but then other cultures having to work 3 times harder. In Nigerian, he was saying you are told to work 4 times harder. And is that a concept that is like told to y'all or preached to y'all?
I could go first because
Why you throwing it over to me, huh? I hear that, baby. So yes, we are. Yes, we are told. It's not even a telling. It's just understood that we have to work 10 times harder. We have no humility when it comes to what job you would do. If it takes you working at Burger King, and you working at Burger King, and then you go into, after Burger King, you go and clean the floors of uh a building or something like that, and you get up and you do it again. It's just understood, right? That's what you have to do, because even with certain programs that are here that we might have, let's take for instance, maybe when you come here you might get what is food stamps, or any type of little help from the government that you do get. We are still, I don't know if it's a Caribbean thing, but I do see the difference in, even when it comes to like Hispanic people. Like we don't get the same amount that they do, if that makes sense. And I don't know, I haven't done the research on it. I have never been on, government assistance, but growing up, I did know, my mom did get it, or go to the food bank or something like that. And it was just more so of, we're not depending on the government, to give us this and to give us that. We're appreciative of it, but we are going to work 10 times harder because we do not want to be dependent on the government. So it's just understood that this is what you do. Plus, and moreover, where we come from, we don't have that. I said that last week. We don't have that. So it's like, and some people do get dependent on it when they come here. So it's like, oh wow, free money. I don't have to work as hard. But overall, it's just understood that we didn't have this. We don't need a handout for anyone. We are going to go ahead and get it on our own. So yeah.
Okay. Hanifa, what do you think about that?
I hate it a lot. I hate to hear it. I hate the fact that we've accepted it and normalized it in our community, to where we pass it down like a recipe to our children. You know, I hate the idea that you work 10 times harder so that someone else don't have to work as hard. Because that's really what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay, because when the people on the bottom is told you're going to have to work 10 times harder, it is so the people at the top could enjoy leisure. That's really what's happening. And so that is where I have an issue with it. My mindset is always around, okay, so when do we decide that I'm not going to work 10 times harder so that you can relax and take trips and whatever else you need to do, right? I think there's a conversation that Black people have to have around that, because it really is slave rhetoric. It is, our people has always worked 10, 20 times harder so that someone else can sit on their balcony with a fan in their hand and call our men boys. Our people have always done that in this country, right? It is still, to this day, we're still doing it, and yet we're saying we've been emancipated, and yet we're still conducting ourselves and our thinking like slaves. So when I decide I'm going to pass that down to my child, I could say to my child, go out there, be your own boss. I could say all of that, but I don't know that I want to drive it in them that, you have to work 10 times harder. I could tell them their history. I could tell them the history of their people in this country. I could tell them about capitalism. I could tell them about those things so that they can know how to navigate the system, right? But it's not something that I think I want to have a conversation I want to have with my sons about working 10 times harder. I think the conversation I want to have is why we have to work 10 times harder. That's where the work needs to be done in my head. Because there are a lot of systems and things in place. And this is where I get a little bit like frustrated with us, because it's almost like a complacency. It's almost like it's almost like a surrender, right, to what is. And yet what is detrimental to us. What is hurting us. And then we still say things like, it is what it is. I'm not saying that we can't acknowledge that, yes, we are in a condition, in a position, and there are systems in place in this country that actually makes us have to work 10 times harder. Yes, we can acknowledge that. But we can also say there's something to be done about it versus just laying down and accepting it and passing it on like recipes to our children. That's what I think about it.